Hi, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of the Canadian Virtual Music Expo and the Canadian Music Expo for that event as well. So thanks for. I'm really excited to be joined by Martina Ortiz-Luis, who has an amazing background and at such a young age. So I want to go over a little bit of your background, Martina. First of all, thanks for being here. It's really a thrill to chat with you, and I'll explain why in a bit. But really excited to meet you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited.
So you started training in classical and Broadway music at the age of 3 for voice and at the age of 5 for violin. I mean, did you really know what was going on at that point?
I mean,
probably not.
Well, I was told that I started singing when I was very, very young. And like when I was about 2 years old, I loved singing Disney songs. And my parents kind of noticed that I carry a tune, and I would like copy what these singers would be doing. And so they thought they would try to develop my singing voice early on. And so they took me to this music school. And originally this music school didn't take anyone under 6 years old, but one of the voice teachers was like, I'll give her a chance. And so I did one class with her when I was 3, and she was very surprised with how I was taking in everything she was saying and how I was able to carry out what she was telling me to do. And so she took me in, and then I've been studying singing ever since.
Yeah, so you began, the story is that you began competing in talent competitions at the age of 4.
Yeah.
You've been performing in theaters and big events since 5. When you were 5, you won first place in the prestigious York Region Celebration of the Arts Talent Search. For anybody outside of Toronto, York Region is in the Greater Toronto area. And that was for the under age 13 category. So you were 5 and you won that. At the age of 11, you became a youth ambassador for World Vision. Mm-hmm. At age 13, you were asked to write their official Christmas jingle, which was "The Spirit of Christmas," which was used commercially all over North America. Less than a year later, you joined the Voice franchise in the Philippines. You've been invited to perform for events across the GTA. And by any measure, really, you've had an incredible career, and you're only 19 years old.
Yes. Thank you.
So that's amazing. So let me ask you this. How much of this was you kind of saying this is what you want to do versus, say your parents, saying this is what you should be doing? Like, there's a yin and yang kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
so
of course. Well,
you know what I mean?
It's something that I've always loved to do. I've always loved watching people sing, and my parents would play like music, like all types of music, all the time when I was a kid. And actually, when I was a baby and Destiny's Child was very popular, they would be playing, that album, and like in the car, and I would cry when they would stop it. So I think it's just been something that's been in me that I've always just really loved and like had a passion for. And, I'm just really grateful that my parents are very supportive of this, because especially, in like the Asian community, it's not always a first choice to pursue a career in the arts, but I'm just very grateful that they've allowed me to develop this craft and pursue it seriously.
It's fantastic. So you mentioned Destiny's Child. What other music did you listen to growing up?
I love listening to Queen and the Eagles and Michael Jackson. And it was really funny. Like I was 11 and I would walk into like an HMV, right? The CD store. And and like I would go in and like grab like Bruce Springsteen CDs, and my dad's like, why do you want to buy these? And I was like, I like his music. So and I've also loved, of course, like Whitney and Mariah, Celine and Lauryn Hill, Alicia Keys, and some more current artists that I really love are like Shawn Mendes and Chloe and Halle and Bruno Mars, that type of pop, R&B type of singer-songwriter. modern style. And yeah, that's the stuff that I really enjoy listening to.
That's great. So, by the way, if anybody wants to ask a question, just post it in the chat box as well. So let's go through a bit more of the musical career. So you've had years of classical voice training. You've got a passion for soul and R&B.
Yeah.
You can perform classical, Broadway, and pop songs. You sung a cover, which is amazing, on YouTube of "I Have Nothing" by Whitney Houston at Casa Loma. You're a songwriter. You've got an amazing new single called "No Love." How did you come up with the name of the song? And maybe you can talk about the song, maybe a little bit of the background of it.
Yeah, so No Love is one of my favorite songs that I've written for sure. And I co-wrote it alongside two other writers, Ali Sue and Terrence T. Lamb, who's worked with like Rihanna and Drake and Alessia Cara, and just incredible writers. And it was really funny because I walked into this songwriting session and they were like, "So what are your thoughts on love?" And, I'm like this young teenager, and I was kind of just sitting there, and I had just witnessed one of my closest friends go through like a terrible breakup. And so I kind of was just thinking to myself that that's not really for me right now. And that's why I say like no love. Like I've seen it all go wrong before, because, I've seen it with the people that I really love and who are close to me, like go through this terrible heartbreak. So that's kind of the tone of the song, and yeah.
It's really great. And it is available on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it, right? So, what's next for you musically? You have other songs coming up. I think in this fall you were going to release a couple more songs, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I've got a couple more songs in my back pocket, and because of the whole COVID thing, it's been a little bit hard to collaborate with other musicians because of all the protocols and procedures in place. But now that things are starting to open up a bit, I'm really hoping to get into the studio and just work again. And so I have a couple songs that I'm hoping to release in the next few months. And you can follow me on social media and follow me on Spotify and Apple Music if you want updates on that.
That's great. So last year you performed for Canada's Walk of Fame, the awards night, and you performed a tribute to Alessia Cara, and you presented her with the Alan Slade Award. Mm-hmm. It must have been a cool thrill to meet her as well, be on stage. So do you want to talk about that? And maybe if there's a musician that you look up to, that you admire, otherwise perhaps that you've met or not met. You mentioned a few earlier, but is there anyone that you really look up to and you want to copy or meet maybe one day?
I mean, there's so many incredible artists out there right now. Beyonce, obviously love her. If I ever met her or even got to work with her, I'd probably pass out. But there are a lot of great artists coming out of Toronto as well. Like, everyone knows about Drake and Shawn Mendes and The Weeknd, and Alessia Cara, but like Jessie Reyes and Daniel Caesar are some other artists that I really look up to. I just love their songwriting and the uniqueness of their sounds and their voices. And like if I could collaborate with those guys as well, like that would be a dream come true for sure. Bruno Mars, of course. Bruno Mars is probably like, I want to say Beyonce and Bruno Mars are like my top favorite artists of right now. And just I love their songs, the way that they can write and the way that their voices are powerhouse voices, but they're also really great performers. And yeah, I feel like I was just rambling for a bit there, but yeah.
So you're a teen phenom, obviously, and we'll talk about kind of how you got there as well a little bit as we go along here. But I don't know if you've heard about Brampton's most recent induction to the even before teen, Roberta Battaglia. Do you know who she is?
America's Got Talent, right?
Yes, yeah. So she's 10 years old, the Canadian singer from Brampton. And she's received amazing praise from Howie Mandel, Heidi Klum, Simon Cowell. She's into the semifinals. I mean, we'll probably have some younger people watching as well, like musicians and singers. What advice would you give to Roberta or anyone else who's watching who might be, 10 years behind you, like Roberta?
I just want to say, just keep doing what you're doing, especially if you love it. And if you truly have a passion for it, just keep working hard and developing your craft, and just keep going.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's talk about the Leafs and the anthem.
Talk about the Leafs.
We have to cover that. I mean, this is so I've been a Leafs fan for 55 years. How old I am. And, the last time the Leafs won the Cup was when I was 2 years old. So I don't remember anything about it. But I do remember over the years watching the Leafs, and they've had they've had organists do the anthem. They've had recorded anthems. And you're the first singer that they've had, like the Leafs, like in Philadelphia, they had, Kate Smith, Lauren Hart, in other cities, especially the American cities. They've always had the singers. So how did you get that? Like, how did you get that? Did they just do an open audition? Did you send a tape in? Like, maybe talk about the history of how you got that gig.
Yeah, for sure. So basically the summer before their 100th season, they were looking for a permanent anthem singer for the whole season, and so they were promoting it on social media and on TV and stuff. And so a family friend actually suggested that I audition for it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just give it a go. And honestly, completely forgot about the auditions until the night before. And literally that night, my parents and I were like, oh my god, wait, we have to do something tomorrow. And so we woke up really, really early. We got to the arena at around 7:30 a.m. and the audition started at 8. And there was already a line going out the arena. And so, it was just, there were a lot of people who auditioned, and a lot of them were seasoned performers and seasoned anthem singers who have already been on rotation for the Raptors and the Marlies and, the Leafs and the Jays. And I was kind of just like this 15-year-old kid, and I was just shooting my shot and a little bit intimidated by all these older professionals. But they made me do a few rounds, and they made me sing in the arena. And a couple weeks later, I got the call saying that I got the gig, and my whole life changed ever since. They flew me out to Halifax for their preseason game, and that's kind of when I really got to see how this thing kind of worked. And the first time that I sang for an actual game, and that season was just incredible. And still not tired of that feeling, like stepping out onto the ice 4 years later.
Yeah, and so each year it's just, hey, they ask you to come back, and that's basically it. I mean, you're doing an amazing job at it, obviously. So
thank you.
So, I mean, some of these games are watched by millions of people, especially during the playoffs. Like, do you get nervous? Like, do you feel that maybe you're going to forget the words or something? I mean, or is it kind of old hat now that you just go on and is every time?
You know what? I try not to overthink it, and it's really just, for me, it's really just about, being present and performing out there on the ice for the people within the building, and kind of just feeding off their energy and feeding off the energy of the players, and just hoping that I can, you know, encourage some energy and, you know, pump up the crowd. And you know what? I haven't forgotten the lyrics, knock on wood. I hope that never happens. But yeah, I think I was a little bit nervous for the very first home opener of the 100 season, because it was just a completely surreal moment, and I had no idea that the US networks were covering it as well, and it was just all these cameras, and because it was the 100 season, all the people in the stadium had these lights on their like these like armbands that had lights on them, so it was kind of just like this big, grand, surreal image, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking, especially because it was my first home opener. But ever since then, I've just been very present, and I don't want to say comfortable, but more of just like feeding off the energy in the building, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And do you normally stay for the games to watch them, like, or do you kind of do your thing and then take off? Or?
So because I've pretty much been in school most of the time that I was singing for them, I would take the tickets because they gave me season tickets. So I would take the tickets on the weekends, and I would, like, you know, watch with a friend or something. But on the weekdays, I usually had homework. So my dad would take the tickets and watch with a friend or with my mom or something, and I would just go home and do homework. But trust me, I had my the Leafs app on my phone, and I was like checking the score every 2 seconds.
No, that's cool. So you are at least fan at heart. You grew up in Toronto as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you know, you and I both know traffic can be horrendous in Toronto. Do you ever have any nightmares that you're gonna be late for the game? Like, do they have like a backup singer, like like in case something happens, storm or whatever? Like, what happens there?
The thing is, our routine is that they usually want me there an hour or an hour and a half before I sing, just to make sure that I'm there. And so I'm just chilling in my dressing room and I get ready there. But thankfully, I did high school in North York, and then I went to U of T for a bit of last year. So pretty much every weekday game, I would just take the subway, and that was usually not as much of a problem as traffic. But actually, funny story, this last season, I was coming from a rehearsal at U of T, and I was on the subway, and it just completely stopped at Osgood, and I was like, come on, it's just 2 more stops away. And it just stopped for about like 45 minutes, and then they told us all to leave the subway. So there's just these huge crowds of people walking, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so late for the game. But it was fine. I got there with about 20 minutes to spare, which is not a lot of time, but it all turned out well in the end.
That's good. Okay, cool. So just a couple more questions on the Anthem part, and then we'll talk about your acting. So do you ever look at the other Anthem singers in other cities, like watch their videos, like, Lyndon Sluage in Ottawa, Mark Donnelly in Vancouver, like Renee Rancourt, who does the Boston Bruins Anthem, they take it to a different level. I mean, you get out there and you do the anthem and hey, smile to the crowd and stuff like that. But do you ever, think about doing a fist pump, like "Go Leafs Go" chant, like anything like that, or you go do your thing and that's it? I get these questions, by the way. These are not just my questions. People ask me to ask you these questions beforehand.
Okay, so. Cool. I feel like watching Renee is just really funny because he's always like doing that fist pump thing. And you know what? I'm like, I'm going to leave that to you. You can do your own thing. But I remember when I was younger, in my first season, I think I walked off the arena going like this. And then I was told to not do that. ever again.
Ever.
So yeah.
That's true, right? Really conservative.
Yeah, and they're like, keep it
Yeah.
down a little bit. Yeah.
That's funny. And then favorite Leafs player? Do you have one? Anybody that you met that you know?
I mean, all of them are really. I've met most of them, and they're all very nice. And some of them follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I've done an event with Travis Dermott before. We did we were guests at, oh my gosh, one of the races down at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and he was just really funny. We were just like teasing each other the whole time, and he's really nice. And I've met a lot of them, and I'm gonna shout out Nick Robertson just because he's half Filipino. And I don't think I've met him yet, but we message each other sometimes, and he's pretty cool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about acting.
Okay.
Because you're acting also, which is right. You landed the character Rachel on the hit show Wynonna Earp.
Yeah.
Where does the acting come to this? Because all your background seems to be music and so on. So where does the acting come in? Do you take classes and so on?
Yeah. So I've been taking acting classes for a while now, ever since I was about 11, I think. And once again, it was just like one of those things that I kind of just had a passion for, but it didn't come as naturally to me, I think, like singing did. But it was something I really enjoyed. And so I've been taking classes ever since, once again, I was 11, and just kind of been like developing it for a while. And then all of a sudden I landed this role, and it's been a crazy journey ever since, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. And Abathy, one of the people watching, has asked, how do you balance everything, between acting, singing, your school? Like what's how do you do it?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of balancing everything and just giving everything its own time and place to kind of get done and to be focused on. I kind of dropped out of university for the last year in the second semester, but I'm hoping to go back now since everything's online. I just feel like it'll be easier for me to, take classes online wherever I am, if I'm filming or in a music studio or whatever it is. But yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know how I'm balancing everything, honestly.
Amazing. So you're in a Calgary hotel right now. You're filming the show. How long are you expecting to be on? Like, the show's in the 4th season right now. How long will you be in Calgary for? How long do you figure you'll be on the show? Have they said anything to you?
I don't know anything. And I'm not allowed to say a lot of things. But all I can say is I really don't know how long I'm going to be in Calgary filming for. And I'll definitely be back and forth between here and Toronto for a bit. That's all I got to say.
All right, no problem. I don't want to put you on the spot here. So the future, acting or singing? Like, is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be, kind of more pursuing your acting or more singing?
You know what? I've always had a passion for both. And in terms of acting, it's very much a learning curve right now. And it's a very new experience. And I'm kind of just riding the wave for now. And we'll see how it goes. It is something that I really enjoy doing. And I truly do have a passion for it. And with music, it's just something that's a part of me. And of course, I'm going to continue pursuing it and, creating music. It's all I really want to do. And along with acting, I feel like it's just being in this realm of the arts is just something that I really want to be doing for the rest of my life.
It's good. And do you set goals for yourself? Like anything a year from now, 5 years? Do you envision something where you might say, yeah, you know what, I've made it. Like this is where I want it to be.
Yeah, of course. I feel like it's really important to keep yourself dreaming and set goals. And I usually don't like saying them out loud, but there's one thing that I'll say is I really hope to perform at the Scotiabank Arena and not just for the anthems.
Oh, aha. I get a backstage pass when you do?
For sure.
If we stay friends, right? If we stay friends.
Of course.
So, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, no, you have to have goals and aspirations. So, you know, all the musicians that we have today, we had over 30 musicians at this event. And everybody's got their own goals and aspirations. And I mean, you know, you being 19, congratulations on the success that you've had. That's fantastic. And I'm sure it's only going to grow from here, and you've got a bright future ahead.
Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure. And I love what you're doing with this convention and giving voices to, you know, all these Canadian musicians. So thank you for that.
We've got some amazing Canadian music in this country. It's just unbelievable. And you know what? We're getting recognized as a country, like worldwide. You know, the Shawn Mendes of the world, like the Drake Weekend. You know, it's just amazing. And then you got Roberta Battaglia, 10 years old, man, just more Canadian content coming down the pipe. So let's keep it going, you know?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So people can connect with you on MartinaOrtiz-Luis.com.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, you've got close to 15,000 followers. Instagram. Any other kind of shout outs, any other promo? And I see that you put your single on there too in the chat, which is great. Anything else you want to promote? Anything we haven't discussed, you want to mention? You want to give a shout out to someone, or you want to give words of encouragement to anyone?
I mean, I think we've covered it all. And, you know, please check out my single and watch Wynonna Earp on CTV Sci-Fi and keep the faith in the Leafs, man.
Well, you grew up as a Leafs fan. From your parents and family are all Leafs fans, I'm assuming.
I mean, we grew up just really loving sports all around. Like I remember we would have, you know, the Raptors, the Jays, the Leafs on TV all the time, even if it was just like in the background. And yeah, my entire family, even though they're a family of immigrants, very passionate about sports. So yeah, for sure.
Right. So let's hear a Go Leafs Go then, and we'll edit this and we'll play it on our thing. So Go Leafs Go.
Go Leafs Go.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. So thanks a lot. And for everyone watching, we still have about 15 minutes left in the event. And by all means, feel free to go out to some of the other sessions that we have. We have the expo still happening in the networking area as well. And I'll be going into the networking area after this. And thanks very much, Martina. You've been great. Good luck with your career. And we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Hold on, Martina. Just give me 1 sec, and I'm just going to stop and just 1 sec. It's just that 20, 30 second delay. So I'm just waiting till it cuts off. If I push the button too early, it'll cut off mid-stride. Okay.